Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Friday, July 4th, 2025, and today's topic is going to be using these color pens on printer paper. But before we begin, welcome back if you're returning and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'll start a 10-minute timer. So yeah, that's like really the main thing is I wanted to do more of these color pen sketches, and I just found a picture on Pinterest. Like I just refreshed the page like I've been doing the past few days. Yeah, let's just get started and I'll kind of just talk about like what I'm doing. So I found like a landscape and I drew there's like a castle or something, and I drew a box because I feel like that helps. Part of this is just experimenting. So there's like a gradation. So I wanted to use a pen so that if you kind of want to follow along, you can use like a black pen or a pencil. So part of this is just the sketching, like the daily sketching, but I have these, so I want to see. And then also sometimes that's like the inspiration is just the material itself. What's a good way to kind of do these studies? But yeah, I kind of wonder what it looks like. And we'll see how it goes. But I find it good to be able to get like a quick sketch down. Because a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, a lot of it comes through like as you're sketching stuff. And you just kind of improve as you go along. Yeah, I'm just going to use the same color for now. But yeah, I just refreshed my Pinterest like homepage, and it's like pictures, random pictures come up, and so that's part of it is like the randomness. And then the other thing is sometimes it's like the material, and sometimes it's just like the composition that is interesting. The sky is actually pretty clear. I would move this around. So part of this is figuring out how sketchy I can be and still make it look pretty good, in my opinion. And it's not a bad way to do kind of a color study, and also it could be like on location, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you can also use pencil and stuff. Then I'll introduce another color, this kind of yellow color. Like this is just an experiment, but I'm thinking like this blue will help to harmonize that, but I won't use the yellow like everywhere. But just to begin with, I'm gonna like think about the kind of like the gradation. So I'm gonna do like darker and then to kind of match like the sky. So I'm just gonna, and this is just, not only is this the sketch, but it's also like the sketch of like the color, because that's the thing with color. I usually just say like it adds another dimension, and it adds like more complexity, like up to a certain point. I mean, it depends on how you approach it. So part of this is I'm just figuring out how much ink some of these pens have. So I'm using the white of the paper also as like a tint, I think that's what it's called. As if I'm mixing like white with like the color. I'm using it as a color. So I'll just leave it at that. And then next I'll introduce a third color, which is the green. Now you can't go too wrong if you keep the palette, so to speak, or like the colors kind of limited. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do kind of like a crosshatch effect with a gradation. So, and I think when you're using, well, part of it is if you create a border and then if you do it kind of definite like this, like keep it the pen strokes more finished and definite, then it helps make it look cleaner. Now that we have like the basic color scheme, which also includes like the white, because you can always go back in and like fill that in more, make it more solid. Then there's like certain, it'll get darker. So for example, these are like trees. So I'm gonna just take a second to think about like the gradation of it. That's just what I'm calling it. For these trees, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction because of the sunlight. It's like hitting the top of the tree. I'm gonna leave that, and that's part of that is just like the technique that I'm using. So kind of like this, just to get it started. Same with this. So now it's just kind of establishing the vocabulary of this particular sketch. That's basically like, it's a pretty good sketch, I think. You can start to define some things. So like this is the sketch, and like this is also the color sketch. It's like the initial pass of like the color. And then if you want to add detail to the actual like sketch and not like think about the color so much, I'm just going to go back to this one so that the shapes could look more defined. I mean, you could keep it like this and it would be a decent like color study. Like this roof, or like this is a building, so you might want to work on like the form. That's what I mean. But if you want it to be a little bit more detailed, then it's like these are smaller shapes. Then it would be good to kind of like with the color, like the way it was introduced sort of gradually, it might be good to introduce these shapes a little bit gradually. So like kind of going off of the reference, but not really, kind of just getting ideas. So one thing, for example, is the windows would help. So figure out like the scale of the windows. So those are just like little details. You can start to crosshatch and it'll, so in a way this is going towards establishing like the light and dark. Good old horses. So yeah, I'll start to wrap this up. I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine, and if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and I'll just, there's a couple of minutes left, I'll just sketch for the rest of the time. And yeah, until next time, keep on sketching.